Allow me to reintroduce myself. Allow me to reintroduce myself. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
Orange Grove 55.
In this video, we are celebrating 7 years of OG55. Up next, I'm joined by Citrus George, the Italiano. Welcome aboard, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to all who come to this happy place.
Welcome to Orange Grove 55.
Everybody, welcome aboard to the OG55 7-year anniversary celebration video. So, George, welcome, man. 7 years. Can you believe it?
It's something, man. I remember watching you from your very first video when you were talking about Mission Breakout. From its conception, like from it being the Tower of Terror,
Right.
transitioning into Mission Breakout, you sitting in front of your bookshelf, just doing these little videos. But I tell you what, man, I mean, your channel was so different from anybody else's because everyone was vlogging, you know, like out and about, you know, taking pictures of the same god-awful desserts or the beverages with the boba balls and everything. But you, I loved how you like showcased the news, you know,
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And actually, I mean, to give a shout out, my inspiration for this format really was Christian Harloff and like John Campia and Mark Ellis over there at Collider. And it was AMC and then it was Collider when they would do their Jedi Council show. I'm a huge Star Wars guy. And back then, like 2014, 2015, I was watching these guys and I'm like, you know what? There's not really any kind of content that I found on YouTube or otherwise where people just got in front of a camera and just talked about theme parks like they do with Star Wars or movie or film, you know? And I wanted to do that. So yeah, big shout out to Christian Harloff, especially. Huge fan of his, and he was a huge inspiration for me to start, you know, this channel. But yeah, so we have something in store for everybody at home today. We asked a lot of friends of the channel. Some are fellow content creators, some are not. To make maybe like a 5 to 10 minute clip, and we're gonna take all these clips and connect them, piece them together, and make one long anniversary show. And that's what you're watching here today. So we have several clips from friends over the years, people that you've seen on the channel before, and they're gonna basically whatever their topic was, whether it be just congratulating us on 7 years, whether it be an actual topic, you know, something Disney related that they want to discuss. You're going to see all that coming up. But George, do you have anybody or anything that you want to say? Like 7 years, and you've been a big part of the channel now for a long time, many years. But anyone in particular you want to thank for over the past 7 years? Anyone you want to bring up or shout out?
Yeah, absolutely. Now there are some people that may have not be partaken into this video due to scheduling conflicts or just not getting out. So there is a possibility we may have a part 2 where they may release some videos later on. But I'll give a shout out to the people as of now that didn't send any videos in. Our buddies over at the Bad Thoughts podcast, Mr. Candid Camper and Tones. Those two, I swear they are phenomenal. They're like right up my alley with a lot of hard take type of topics and a lot of risque moments at times, if you will, which again, that's like right up my alley. But we had Candid Camper on the show several times, and now from him being on this channel, it kind of opened him up to do a podcast of his own, for which Tones was trying to get him to do for a long time. So I'm glad that this channel has become a platform for inspiration for other people that are wanting to kind of partake in their own kind of podcast or YouTube channel. So I thought that was really cool. So definitely shout out to Candid Camper and Tones as part of the Bad Thoughts podcast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I also do want to give a shout out to VashSky Dre. Dre was a contributor on this channel for many, many years. Not every person watches every single video, and they don't sit through the entire video, or they don't see my tweets or what have you. So some people are still not aware that Dre is no longer with OG55. He has moved on. He has gone on to join WDW Pro and Jonas over there at that Park Place. So he's doing things over there, and we wish Dre the very, very best. But I mean, it wouldn't feel right, regardless whether he's here now or not with us. It wouldn't feel right, at least not to mention him. I mean, he was a big part of this channel for a few years. So, shout out to VashSky for all the years of conversation we had with Mr. VashSky. I also want to thank every single person who's ever liked, shared, tweeted out, commented, our videos. It means the world to us. It really, really does. It's humbling. We're a small channel. So when someone, shares our content, it means the world to us. I mean, that it makes all the difference, you guys. I also want to give a huge, huge shout out to Mr. Matthew Murr. He has been a huge supporter of the channel for so many years. He's constantly sharing our content. We love his passion. Just big shout out to Mr. Matthew Murr. I mean, there's just so many people. Obviously, I can't name every single person, but we've come across so many people that we've collaborated with over the years. We've had great conversations, and it all stemmed from that first video. And that first video, actually, by the way, that Mission Breakout video from 2016, I will be linking it at the very end. So if you guys and gals are curious as to what that looked like, the first video with the crappy audio and everything, check it out. It'll be at the very end.
But I have to say, from watching that first video of yours, because I didn't know you personally then, it was just me finding you, but I knew, like, with your style, the dress code, the hair, I thought, oh, this guy got to be from Cali.
and sure enough, I am from Cali, born and raised. But I also want to thank Showcase of Wishes. He's also been a big supporter of the channel. He was actually Showcase, I believe you were my very first subscriber, believe it or not, on the channel. So do want to give him a shout out. And just everybody over the years, it means the world to us. And guess what? You know what? Just like the Wolf of Wall Street, we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue doing this stuff. We're going to continue making content. We'll continue having people on, nerding out with everybody at home. And we're just getting started. So it's been a really fun journey. We have a lot more ahead of us. But George, is it time to start the party, get everything going?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So enjoy the show, everybody. We'll catch you on the other end. Bye-bye now.
Hey kids, this is Theme Park Casual, and I'm here to say congratulations to my friend OG55 on his YouTube anniversary. Dude, I can't thank you enough for being my friend, for giving me a shot on your channel. You have no idea what that launched in my heart and out into the world, man. I owe you so much, dude. I am so happy to call you a friend, to see the success on your channel, and I just wish you many more years of continued success. And while I got you here, why don't we take a quick little tour of some of the fun little spots that us Disney nerds really kind of geek out on. I'm going to start over here with the Snow White wishing well, and you're going to be able to see a fun little spot that is exclusive to Disneyland. Not many people know about it. Most people overlook these kind of places, but those of us who are the Disney geeks, we know that these are the kind of things that really make Disneyland Disneyland. And I know we've talked about it many times, how way back when it was tough to be able to find somebody else who maybe shared that same kind of fun passion for Disneyland. But thanks to the internet, we can find friends easily. And when I found Orange Grove 55, it was amazing. It was like finding kindred spirits when it comes to Disneyland. And so again, just want to say thank you, man, for giving me a shot. And like I said, you've kind of launched this whole YouTube thing for me, man. You gave me a chance to come on the channel when I thought, who wants to hear what I have to say? But for whatever reason, it was fun. I had a blast, and well, here I am. I'm at Disneyland recording a video for my friend, talking about all the geeky little stuff that we love here at the park, and we can go on for hours. Just gonna walk you guys over to Adventureland for one of my favorite little spots. People ask, do you ever get tired of going to Disneyland? It's like, do I get tired of breathing? No, I don't. Thankfully, I come as a visitor, so even though live streaming is work, I can go home, and if I don't want to come back the next day, well, I don't have to come back the next day. I could take a day off. That's what makes it fun. We're coming over this way into Adventureland. Not only is it where I get one of my favorite treats here at Disneyland, which is a pineapple Dole Whip. They converted a little area that used to be the Tahitian Terrace, that used to be Aladdin's Oasis, into what they call the Tropical Hideaway. And let me tell you, man, this little spot is fantastic. Like I said, not only to get a fantastic treat, but just hanging out. And they've even finished off the joke of, I wonder what happened to Rosita in Tropical Hideaway, which is a nice touch. Like I said, it's the stuff that us Disney geeks really get into and really look for and cherish here at the park. Oh, you guys are in for a treat. You guys are in for a treat, and this is, I think, where we're gonna wrap up the video. But once again, my favorite attraction, Indiana Jones Adventure, is not working. How odd, I know, crazy. Again, it's actually one of those fun little idiosyncrasies of the park that those of us who are able to come often laughingly get frustrated and wonder what the heck is going on sometimes. So with that, kids, I'm going to say thank you once again to OG. Everything that you've done with your channel, man, everything you've done for me and my channel, everything you've done just for me as a friend. I just say thank you, man. Wish you many more years of success and many, many more years of friendship. So until we're celebrating the 15-year anniversary of OG55, I'll see you at the parks. I might see you on OG55, but I will definitely see you around.
Hey there, Disney fans, and welcome back to the Orange Grove 55 channel. Today we have a truly magical video lined up for you. We're diving into our top 18 announcements we're crossing our fingers for Disney to reveal at the D23 2024 Expo for the Walt Disney World. You won't want to miss this, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to stay up to date with all things Disney. Let's get started. Kicking things off at number 1, we've got a fan favorite request. Bring back the Magical Express. Imagine the convenience of hopping off your flight and straight onto a Disney-themed bus that takes you right to your resort. We miss it already. Next up at number 2, let's talk Genie Plus. We're hoping for an upgrade that allows us to streamline our park experience so we can keep our phones in our pockets more often and focus on the magic around us. At number 3, it's time to ditch those park reservations. We're dreaming of a day when we can spontaneously visit any park without planning months in advance. Number 4, can we please extend those magic hours back to full hour? 30 minutes just isn't enough time to enjoy the parks before the crowds arrive. Speaking of transportation, number 5 on our list is a big one. Disney, it's time to update the monorail system. We want a smoother, more efficient, and safer ride for everyone throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. Now, number 6, hydration is key. So let's get bottled water refill stations throughout all the parks. Staying refreshed and reduce waste, what's not to love? Number 7 is all about sustainability. We'd love to see Disney convert its park and transportation to electric vehicles, making the magic a little more eco-friendly and a little less gas fuming. Moving on to number 8, Florida can get pretty toasty. We're hoping for more shade and more cooling areas throughout all 4 parks to help us beat that Florida sun. And number 9, we're talking about reimagining the Ticket and Transportation Center into Walt's Welcome Hub. First impressions is everything, and the TTC is old and outdated. Plus, a tribute to the man who started it all would be a must-visit spot and a way to welcome first-time guests into the world. Now, number 10, it's time to reimagine Epcot's World of Nature. Let's bring it into the 21st century by doing a complete overhaul of the Living with the Land Pavilion and the Seas, and let's bring more nature to Epcot. Number 11 is a bit of nostalgia. How about bringing back the magic of Disney animation to the Animation Courtyard at Hollywood Studios? Classic Disney, anyone? Number 12, it's time to reimagine Epcot's Imagination Pavilion with our favorite purple dragon figment. Star Wars fans, get ready. Number 13 on our list is all about new Smuggler's Run adventures and your favorite Star Wars characters coming to Galaxy's Edge. Luke, Han, Leia, Lando, and even Darth Vader, he can come along too. It's time to join the fun. Number 14 brings some country charm. How about reimagining Rock and Roller Coaster into the Rascal Flatts Cars experience? And let's refresh the area into Cars Themed Wonderland. Indiana Jones fans, number 15 is for you. Let's reimagine Dinoland USA into an Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Crystal Skull adventure based off of Tokyo Disney Sea's Indiana Jones Land. It's time for some archaeological excitement. Marvel fans, brace yourselves. Number 16 is all about reimagining the Wonders of Life Pavilion into Ant-Man and the Quantum World. Get ready to shrink down and explore the quantum realm. Number 17, we're adding a splash of magic from Encanto to Epcot's World Showcase. The Columbia Pavilion featuring Encanto would be an enchanting addition, don't you think? Last but not least, number 18, a dream come true for all you Disney villain fans. How about adding a Disney villain land to the Magic Kingdom complete with an opening date? It's time to embrace the dark side. There you have it, folks, our top 18 announcements we're hoping Disney will make at the D23 2024 Expo for Walt Disney World. Which one are you most excited about? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you share our Disney dreams. Before we go, a special shout out to OG55. Happy 7th anniversary! Thanks for being a part of our magical Disney journey, and stay tuned for more Disney updates, and as always, keep the magic alive.
Hey everybody, welcome to OG55 7th anniversary special. In this in this segment, we have AliiaAloha, friend of the channel. Alia, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thanks for welcoming me. Glad to be part of the OG55 family.
Yes, absolutely. You are definitely part of our family.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. In this segment, we're going to talk about the culture war, right? Now, we've heard a lot. I hear a lot from people that, okay, you'll ask people, why do you focus so much on the Mouse House, right? Why focus so much on them? And you'll hear, well, they're the most influential, right? They're the big baddie in Hollywood, and they're brainwashing our kids, and that's why we have to focus on Disney. They have the most influence. But then you'll see like stuff come out later about how, content will be made about how irrelevant Disney is, and how, the Mouse House is so irrelevant. No one cares about their theme parks or their movies anymore. So I wanted to pose a question to you, Alia. What's going on here? How do these people justify this seemingly contradictory kind of mindset where Disney is both the most relevant thing on the planet, so therefore we need to focus on just Disney, but it's also the most irrelevant thing on the planet because, reasons. How can these two things exist? Is it, where are they at with this? I'm having a hard time putting my finger on it.
I think it's all tied to money. Cue your.
Oh, here, should we do a little money drop? Okay, here, we got money.
Brand new money, brand new hundreds, got a bunch of zeros like a bag of new Funyuns.
There we go. All about the money, right?
Yeah, it is. That's what it's about. The algorithm, the almighty algorithm, applauds negativity. So they know that Disney has vitality. I mean, they come out with the normies. The normies are fine with Disney. Is there some, maybe perturbance with some things? Yes. Is there some glee and love with some things? Yes. But on the average, normies are just a plateau. They're okay with it. But you'll look on, I receive the Google newsletter, trending newsletter, and for different topics, Disney's always on the top of the list or something like that. For most like theme park searches, things like that. It was revealed Disney's one of the top destinations favored by Generation Z. So not the very top, but they're in the top 20 or so. But so, I mean, they still have vitality. The normies are fine with them. So there's that part. So I think they say that to kind of try to, it's that reality, but also try to hook some normies, get like some normies hooked in.
Well, and you're right, Alia, too.
People will, if they're too negative, people do eventually filter away, but at least they got that initial view. But then, then they can't like give Disney kudos. So then it's like, oh, you're nothing, or there'll be nothing. It's
right. Exactly. I know. Exactly. Well, and here's the thing. You're right about the normies not caring, because look, the Spider-Verse movies have been very successful, right? And I know a lot of people who watch this channel are very tapped in to the nerd culture stuff, but the normie, your soccer mom, does not know about the Spider-Man film rights with Sony. Okay, the average soccer mom taking her kids to this movie has no idea what any of that is. So when she takes her kids to go see Spider-Verse, she's assuming it's a Disney movie. It's Spider-Man. That's a Disney property. The families don't, the normies don't know that. So this whole idea of like, well, this movie didn't perform and that movie didn't perform, it's because the families don't trust the Mouse House anymore. Well, they all lined up to go see Spider-Verse, which I'm assuming most of them don't know that Sony is the one who did the movie. A lot of people just assume it was a Disney movie, And
then, I mean, if they're tapped into that anti-Disney thing, then they wouldn't support the movie, because Disney does receive a percentage of the box office. They receive all the income for merchandise. Pretty much. So if you buy something, and I guess if you turn over the box, you would see the Disney logo, the Marvel logo, and it's easy to research that Disney owns Marvel. And then that pops up too when you see the movie. So it's just, but yeah, if you want to meet Spider-Man, see Spider-Man, experiences with Spider-Man, that's through Disney, the Disney Cruise Line. You and George have that great story with the dining.
Oh yeah, the Spider-Man came out. Oh, he was a rock. You would have thought Elvis resurrected from the dead. I mean, people were climbing over each other to meet Spider-Man. It was crazy. But it's just this whole thing. I think the culture war is so played out at this point. I think that people have their little bubbles, their little echo chambers, and they think it's bigger than it really is. Like you said, Ollie, I think the normies are kind of indifferent to this crap now, you know? I really do.
I don't think there's little things they favor or disfavor, and they'll Venn diagram, like venture into little areas, but on the average, they have other things on their mind. It's just, this is not their priority. There's maybe a fondness or a love for Disney for many of them, and nostalgia, but it's not, let me look into every little thing Disney's doing sort of thing.
No, not at all. And Disney, and I know I'll let you lead with this next little story, which is related to what we're talking about now. But we have evidence, a lot of evidence. We've talked a lot about it on the show, but even new evidence that Disney is moderating, right? If you want to go ahead and elaborate on that.
If Disney was not moderating, if they were only trying to favor to the progressives to the left, especially the extreme left, then they would not have donated the large amount of funds for Israeli charities because of the terrorist attack by Hamas. So right there, if all they cared about was what the left thought, especially the extreme left thought, they would not have done that at all. So to me, that's a great sign of moderation.
Right, exactly.
And Baloney, in his newsletter, he did mention in his e-newsletter, so he did say, studios come around on Israel. Nice to see the Hollywood studios finally expressing support for Israel nearly a week after the attack by Hamas terrorists. So a weird few days where the industry, famously founded by Jewish immigrants and still run by many Jews, was largely silent, apparently afraid of alienating segments of the global audience and some on the hard left. Behind the scenes, a pretty major lobbying effort by Jewish advocacy groups, publicists, and journalists have been urging stars and executives to make their stance clear online. It worked. But I think also what worked, especially with Iger and Disney, was just what he said when showing not too much regret about, I think he regrets that press release that, he wasn't in charge of them, but he's thinking, hindsight, that shouldn't happen, but everything else, I don't think he regrets too much, but it all comes down to employees feeling safe. Right. And I think he heard from Jewish employees who felt unsafe and concerned. And so that's always his North Star, I think, maybe along with lobbying and all that from, as Baloney mentioned, but I think he heard from Jewish employees too. And so that's why that happened. So. Yeah, no, absolutely. And shout out to Matt Bellani. We love Matt Bellani. We're fans of he does great work, really great work. But yeah, there's a huge Hollywood there is a lot of Jewish influence in Hollywood, So Bellani's absolutely right on that. So it's good, I think, that Iger came out and said, hey, look, you know what? We see you, we understand, we support you, So that was a good move, I think, on Iger's part to make, like you said, to make them feel safe. So very, very interesting. But yeah, the overall, the culture war is an interesting thing. And I think it's fizzling out a bit. Me too. And I'm glad of that.
Right? I think people are going to have to start figuring out something else to talk about. I don't know. We'll see. But Alia, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Happy anniversary again.
Thank you so much. And everybody stay tuned. We got more segments coming up after this. And thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Grove 55 fans, this is Jay Sherer, host of the Story Geeks show on Orange Grove 55. And I thought I'd tell you a little story about why I decided to bring the Story Geeks to Orange Grove 55. Of course, OG had to be welcoming enough to include me in that. But it's a very specific reason that also is the reason why I watch Orange Grove 55 and why I think other people should watch Orange Grove 55 as well. When I set out to create the Story Geeks podcast, which, by the way, was one of the top 2% of podcasts for downloads measurements in the world at one point in time. It was a pretty decent sized podcast. Now, just being top 2% doesn't mean that you're like wildly famous or anything like that. It's not how podcasts work, unfortunately. But we had a really great show. We had a really great team. And the reason why I started that show was because a lot of the critique and a lot of what I was finding online in terms of my favorite stories, it wasn't really taking the stories and breaking them down into what are these stories really telling us about what is true about the world, what we should be thinking about differently in the world, how we as people respond emotionally and in a way of thinking about the way that the world works, and how we should change our opinions about those things based on the content that we watch or based on the stories that we encounter. It was called the Story Geeks because we were geeks, meaning we like science fiction, fantasy, and comic books, and we love stories. So it's a little bit of both. A bunch of geek properties are now Disney properties, as you probably already know as an Orange Grove 55 fan. And so when I started the Story Geeks, it was really about trying to figure out, not just say what our opinions on things were, because everybody does that. Everybody tells you what their opinion is on everything. That's fine. That's great. People should do that. That's cool. But what I found lacking was that I found that people were not exploring what it meant, what the story was actually trying to tell you, what the elements of the story, how they were arranged to come to a conclusion that would have an impact on the viewers, like you and me. A lot of what was happening was people just say, I like this movie because of this happened, or I like this movie because that happened. But that doesn't really communicate like what's true or what's not true, or what our experience could look like encountering these types of creative stories. And creative stories are some of the ways that the human brain is wired to understand the world around us. And so these things are very important to someone like me who writes these stories. I don't want to mislead people or tell them lies that they're trying to believe. I'm trying to get to a place where we can say, this is the way that I view the truth. Let's exchange ideas about the way that this truth is laid out. So I started the Story Geeks podcast. Story Geeks podcast was super fun. We had a lot of big names come on. Some names you're familiar with through Orange Grove 55. So people like Bryant from Fanbase Press, Michael from Nerd Soul. Some people that you've already seen before were also on the Story Geeks podcast numerous times. Love all of those people. Some people you haven't seen that were a part of our podcast that actually helped it grow a lot were people from the Empire podcast. People like Chris Hewitt and Helen O'Hara from the Empire podcast. They were fantastic to come on our show. We had Dilip Rao on our show. He's from Inception. He's one of the actors in Inception. We had Cisa Gray, who's been on a number of different things, is a personal friend of mine. Also an actor that we had on the show. We were really fortunate to have a bunch of people that had followers that came over and joined us to talk about stories and break them down into deeper ways. People who did not agree with us, did not see the stories the same way that we did, and that was fantastic. But over the pandemic, I had a whole team of people, probably about 5-6 people that were working with me who were co-hosting the show. And throughout the pandemic, a bunch of different things happened. They had kids, they got different jobs, they got too busy, and they couldn't really do the show anymore. And so for me, I started to look at like, okay, well, I can just keep doing these like solo videos, but that doesn't really get us a chance to express different ideas. It doesn't give me a chance to listen to what other people had to say about this, or how other people thought through what the implications are of these storytelling things that I should maybe know about. And so I started to think to myself, well, I could be doing this YouTube channel by myself, or I could go out and find some other people to podcast with. And by the way, we had a whole podcast that was not even on YouTube at all. So that's like when it was at its biggest, there were no YouTube videos of those particular podcasts. So at the same time, OG was asking his fan base, like, should I start talking about movies more? And I'm a big fan of OG55, and here's why I'm a big fan of OG55. Here's why I think the Story Geeks fits in OG55, and here's why I think you should listen to OG55 as well. I noticed watching the Orange Grove 55 videos that those videos were not just about sharing an opinion. It wasn't just about showcasing what you should like or what you shouldn't like. Rather, those videos were all about, here are the facts that we know. The facts that we know. We don't always know all the facts, by the way. We don't know what happened behind the scenes. We don't know what's happening in leadership. But things that are reported on, we can say, those are the facts. And if you want to know about what like analysis and critique should really look like, Patrick Willems, who I don't agree with on all of his takes, by the way, But he did the best video I've seen on how to critique something. And one of the steps he talks about is understanding what is actually in the movie, not just how I feel about the movie, not just how I feel about Disney, but also what is actually happening. What are the facts that we can see? What happens in these stories? What happens in the stories then leads to our opinion, but we have to have an agreed, a shared understanding, if you will, of what actually happened in the stories. And what I found was that Orange Grove and the whole crew with Orange Grove would always start to go after the facts, and they would start to analyze the facts, and then they would come up with their opinions based on those facts. They weren't trying to give you one-sided information. They're not trying to be grifters or shills. They're literally trying to go through the list of things. Do they have a preference towards Disney? Sure, but so do I, because I love Marvel. I loved it. I'm a Parks fan. I'm wearing a Parks hat. Yes, we have biases, but we have to base those. We have to confront those biases with the facts. And so, what I saw in the Orange Grove 55 channel, and the reason why I wanted to bring the Story Geeks over to when OG said he wanted to get into talking about stories and the movies and television shows that are out there, I said, "Hey, you want me to come on and host a show? You want me to bring the Story Geeks over? I'll host it, and we can talk through these stories together." And he was like, "That sounds amazing." So that's how the Story Geeks came over there. But one of the things that's really important to me is when we start to talk about stories, sometimes people will interpret things based on how they feel without looking at the facts that actually occurred in the thing. So I'll just speak to it from my perspective as a storyteller. We might take a movie and we might say, well, I love this movie because it made me feel really good. And that's awesome. And you should feel really good about that. But sometimes they'll also say, and because I feel so strongly about this, the movie proved some things to be true. And then they start listing those things off. And I sit back and I go, wait a minute. Yeah, the movie did do some of those things, but it also did some other things that would prove what you just said kind of false. Like, I'm not sure that that's an accurate way of viewing that movie and the point that movie was trying to make and the shared truth or the shared understanding that maybe we could come to. We need to have a discussion about that. And that's where I think OG55 and the Story Geeks kind of blends together really well, is that we are trying to take the elements that we see and then we are trying to define what truth looks like at the end of those elements. That's not always easy. We need to have lots of different opinions in the mix, giving ideas and feedback about what that could be and how that could look. But at the end of the day, I think that the Story Geeks fits really well into OG55's channel, and I'm so glad that I'm a part of the crew here. Love all of the crew and all of the guests that we've been able to have, and can't wait to interact with more of you over time. So thanks for welcoming me, Jay Sherer, to the family, to the Orange Grove 55 family, and I'm really glad that the Story Geeks is a part of this network. Thanks for watching. Continue to watch, and let me know if you have some stories that you want us to talk about on the Story Geeks show. Bye.
Hey OG55 fans, how are you guys? I just wanted to take a few minutes and talk to you about the amazing experience that I have had with Orange Grove 55. So I am so excited and so proud of you guys for making this milestone. What an adventure. And it is so cool to see how far you guys have come, how much you have grown. And really the best part is how I got the best of friends out of this YouTube channel. I adore Chris and I love George. I love them both. They're best of friends of mine, and George is like my brother, and Chris and I just hit it off. You know, we've had a long adventure getting to this point, and it was kind of just coincidental that it all just occurred. So my story of how I learned about Orange Grove 55 was George was on a podcast with me in the past, and he was also on Orange Grove. Well, I had decided that George and I both did. We left that podcast show and we had started another podcast together. And it was really about all about Walt and the history and the people and the dreamer makers and just the Imagineers and the cast members and the stories and the history behind it. And it's called a Walk with Walt podcast. And we started doing that. And I was friends with Ashley. And I had reached out to her and said, hey, do you want to do this podcast with us? It's going to be great. We're going to talk about Disney and our favorite secret stuff. And she was all on board, and came to find out George had told Chris, and he was like, oh my gosh, that's my sister. So it was just the weirdest, craziest, like, intertwining of the stars aligning. And I had met Chris a few times. He was a supporter of our old podcast, and he'd come on as a guest. And I started watching Orange Grove a few years ago, before that. And when I met George. And so I've been a longtime viewer, but it's great to see the channel grow so much. And I'm so proud of everybody. And I've got to be a guest on a few times. So I'm very, very honored to have had that opportunity, and just have a blast with Chris and George. So fast forward, we had all taken a Disney World trip to Florida, and boy, was that amazing. We kind of all just clicked. So George had invited me to go, and I'm so honored. Thank you, George, so much. And we had gotten there, and Chris had a little accident, so we kind of bonded off the very first get-go, and it was just really great. And unfortunately, he was okay. I'm so glad. But from then, we were just like two peas in a little pod, and we don't do big rides. So we just kind of hung out together, but we had a blast. And ever since then, we've just like been the little trio of best of friends. So I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm so proud of you guys for everything you have done. And just the channel itself. You guys cover so much, and you're always on, and all the viewers, you're all so supportive of Orange Grove, and I can't thank you all enough for doing that for them, because I know the show means so much to them. And I cannot wait to see where this show is going to go, because I know it's just going to grow and keep getting bigger, and it's exciting to get on this train with you guys. So have a great time. I'm so proud of you both, and happy anniversary, you guys. Make it a good one. Bye.
What's up? What's up? What's up? 7 years. Look at that, man. Happy anniversary, man. I will never forget. I told when I started my YouTube channel, the OG right here was the first one to show me how to do it. I know how to do it, but what apps to use for good thumbnails, what apps to use to clip videos, and kind of how to edit videos. And it was through him, and PicMonkey for thumbnails. It was through him that I started really advancing my channel and getting actually good at it, all the way to where I am today with my over 4,000 subscribers. So all thanks to OG. He's with me every step of the way. I had like 15 subscribers, and he had like 3,000 or something. And even though he's way bigger than I was at the time, I mean, yeah, he was he didn't look down on me or anything. He offered to help, and we formed a fantastic friendship. That's so many other great friendships throughout this 5 years I've been doing this now. So all thanks to OG. He was really, talk about the OG. He was the OG, at least for me, because he's really one of the first YouTube friends I've ever had. So shout out to you. Congrats on your 7 years, and I can't wait for the next 7 and for those next few thousand subscribers you're going to get over the next course in the next couple of years. So stay tuned. Keep up the good work, OG. I love how your channel has grown. And I remember, again, I'm old enough here to realize, remember when you did all your videos were solo videos, and you only had a couple collabs every once in a while. I was glad to be part of one of your collabs there. But now you've grown a whole panel with George and formerly Dr. Dre, and now you have Jay, and you have Rudio used to be on there, and all these cool guests. So it's really cool to see how your channel has grown from just you doing solo videos most of the time to now rarely ever a solo video. You do something like once in a while, but Oh, you have like a whole panel. It's like almost like a podcast type channel. It's pretty cool and amazing to see your growth. Keep up the good work, and here's to another 7 more years. Love you, OG.
Hello, everybody. I'm Marty Snyder. Thank you for inviting me onto this 7th anniversary edition of the OG55 channel. It's a true pleasure, very much an honor. I don't have a YouTube channel or anything like that to promote, so I'm going to use this time to ask a question that I've wanted to know the answer from Magic Key holders, Southern California and around. Now that we have a reservation system in place and there's no getting out of it, I am curious always what people think when they are told that Bob Chapek did not put in the reservation system. In fact, it was Bob Iger. He did that in May of 2019 when he introduced the Flex Pass, 6 months or so before the pandemic, and it was a pretty good pass. It was a solid little deal for what it is, especially when you compare it to the Inspire Key today, which is the top tier. The Flex Pass was $600 in 2019, and you could add parking to it for $250, and you could add Max Pass to that, which is your digital Fast Pass, for an extra $150, making the whole pass, the whole package, $1,000. This pass did have blackout dates. Interesting enough, and it's interesting because they're the same 2 weeks that the top tier pass has. Every pass now has blackout dates. It's the 2 weeks of Christmas and New Year's. That's all this pass had in 2019. Those were the only blackout dates. You had 2 reservations that you could make outside of that and keep those going. The cool thing was you had what they called good to go dates. And these were dates you didn't need a reservation for, and you could go to the parks. And they were typically Monday through Thursday and 50% of the Fridays. And you could use this as a local to decide at 3:30, 4:30 in the afternoon when you're getting off work, I want to go have a cocktail at DCA. I want to go get a corn dog at the Red Wagon at Disneyland. I want to walk around. I want to people watch. I want to go on a ride or two maybe. So this whole pass was $1,000. The Inspire Key, it has the same blackout dates and 100% reservation requirements. You get 6 of them instead of the 2, but there's none of those good to go dates. And with the addition of Fast Pass, that whole Max Pass thing isn't there. So I wonder, if we can't get away from the reservation system, if it's not going anywhere, is this an option you would like to see come back? At the time, a lot of people didn't jump on it because the idea of putting reservations on our annual passes seemed ridiculous. But if that's not the case anymore, and that's going to be the standard norm, is this a pass you would like? Do you think Disney would go back to something like this? They still get the reservations, but they still get the locals in on the weekdays during non-holiday times. I'm interested to see what people think about it now, revisiting. And a lot of people probably didn't even know about it. The pass didn't exist for very long. And a lot of people just shunned it off because, again, reservations, no thank you, not on my AP. So I do think that the pass is actually better than the Inspire that they have now. And what do you think if, since we don't have the Max Pass add-on, if they added 2 lightning lanes, if you could add 2 lightning lanes to your visit on your Magic Key for $250 for the year, and you get 2 lightning lanes per visit, is that something you'd consider for $250? It'd be your Max Pass. A lot of times when we were just going in the afternoon, we weren't able to get more than 1 or 2 anyways. So would that be something you would consider? They're not going to give us unlimited lightning lanes, but maybe 2? That might work per visit, huh? I don't know. Maybe let us know down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'd like to take this moment to congratulate OG on a fantastic channel. 7 years, my man. Something to be very proud of. You've done a great job. You surround yourself with fantastic people as well. You know, Dre, with all of his research, has been awesome, you know, while he was with the channel. And George is just fantastic. His balls to the wall. You got great people like Theme Park Casual over the years and Theme Park Wizard. You know, these people are great to listen to. And the nice thing is your channel is not an echo chamber. If somebody disagrees, they're encouraged to disagree. You know, you say what you feel. And the people you have on over these 7 years, they don't disagree just to disagree. Their points, even if I don't agree with them, I understand where they're coming from, and I can see how they can come to that conclusion. And that's a rarity in this business with these channels and these YouTubes. Some people are just trying to be outrageous, and I don't think that I've ever come across that with your channel. And I find it fresh. It's refreshing. It's freshly squeezed. So I do want to congratulate you on 7 years, and here's to 7 more to come. And thank you again so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. You have a great next 7 years. I'll talk to you later, bro.
Hello, I just wanted to say a quick little congratulations to Orange Grove 55 on your 7th year anniversary. Wow, I just believe I just found your channel like this year, and so it's kind of wild that you guys have been around for 7 years, and this is my first time finding you. Likewise, I too have been around for 7 years, and so it's kind of nice to see that tenacity has paid off. You have such a wonderful channel. I can't tell you how much I rely on your channel to find out juicy information about the ins and outs of theme parks and what's going on at Disney, all that stuff that I don't ever see actually being covered by the news, and the deep dives you go into are just incredible. So I do definitely appreciate all of that. I definitely also to appreciate the deep dives that you also go to talk about some of the streaming shows that are on as well on to do with Disney. So there's a lot that I'm really appreciating from your channel, and I hope that you guys have like another like 7 years and more and more and more because it's just a great channel on YouTube. And I also wanted to let you guys know that it is so cool that I got the opportunity to work with you, and it just really was very, not only just thrilling, but also very gratifying. I thought we had one of the best conversations I've had in a very long time about the topic that we were talking about. So yeah, I hope that we do get a chance to work again together, and a lot of luck to you guys. I definitely am rooting for your channel to continue to grow, and for you to continue to see a lot of success. You definitely deserve it for all of the hard work that you put into your channel, and it's just wonderful that I was able to make your acquaintance this year. So take care of yourselves, and again, happy anniversary, and again, many, many more to you in the future. Take care.
Orange Grove 55, 6 miles tall here. Congratulations on your channel's 7 year anniversary. And thank you for asking me to contribute, as I'm a recent fan in the 7 year scale. Your show's always been a delight to me from the first time I listened. And as you know, I go by 6 miles tall on my relatively new YouTube channel at 6 miles tall on what I call the Kai app, or some people call X or Twitter. I pronounce it by the Greek letter Chi. That's a lot more fun to me. And for those who wonder why I go by 6 miles tall, this is why.
According to this scale, I am 6 miles tall.
A little bit about me. I've been going to Walt Disney World since I was knee-high to Jiminy Cricket in 1973. All throughout the 70s and 80s and 90s and the first bit of the 2000s. So, yeah, I'm a 80s teenager kid. But over time, it got a little bit expensive, so I've tapered off going down there. But I still occasionally go and I keep up with everything up from online news and really enjoy it. Also, I'm a product design engineer. I'm a director of engineering at an entertainment company. I've written a book about product development called Simplified Development, which you can find on Amazon. And I've recently started another YouTube channel called Innovate with Ease, where I deeply and comprehensively explain the creative process and teach how to do it. This is a very early channel. I only have a couple of videos, but I have 50 of them planned. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is meant for students and young professionals trying to get a leap ahead in their careers, and that's a lot of fun. I have 18 US patents to my name, and I've been engineering for 20-something years. And because of all of this, I have a fun little energy outlet in a podcast called Disney Space with my co-host Jeff, who goes by @WGW Scope. And on Disney Space, Jeff and I reimagine Disney spaces all across Disney properties around the world. And we've reimagined things like It's a Small World in the Magic Kingdom. We've reimagined obscure places like the former theaters of the Stitch's Great Escape in the Magic Kingdom. We've reimagined Fort Wilderness campgrounds. And we did a great show where Hal Bowers was a guest star, and we reimagined Journey to Imagination in Epcot, and that was a lot of fun. And of course, you were a guest with us on episode 8 of Disney Space, where we reimagined Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue attraction over there in California Adventure. That was a lot of fun. So for anybody listening, be sure to subscribe to Disney Space and listen to all of our shows from episode 1 to today. These shows are quite evergreen and mind-blowing and a lot of fun. We got a lot of great shows ahead, especially in spaces not just in the Disneyland Resort, but elsewhere in California. So for you California fans, stay tuned. And I'm so glad, OG, that you got to visit Walt Disney World this summer and got to experience its huge enormity and maybe got to picture in your mind what Walt Disney might have had in his mind for this place. And one reason I brought up all of my engineering, innovation, and product design background is because Epcot Center and Walt Disney World in those golden years in the 80s was very instrumental in my youth and catapulted me into the field of engineering. It was so captivating to me and comprehensive in its grand presentations, large and small. And where Test Track stands today was once an attraction called World of Motion, and there are several videos on YouTube of that former attraction and its post-show. And its post-show, called Trans Center, which was sponsored by General Motors, was rich with engineering and design detail. Not only could you see concept vehicles, you could see the mechanical lab components, the rigs and the jigs that these concepts were built upon, all right there within reach. They had a display of a full-blown 3D CAD system in 1982 with electronic instruments and tools and benches. They even had this little working maglev proof of concept prototype train vehicle model, and I was hooked. This is what I wanted to do. This is where I wanted to be. And later on, Horizon showed us where we could go with all of that. It was simply just amazing. And so I credit that golden age of Epcot Center for setting a future for my life, specifically in engineering. And I also felt like Epcot Center back then was this generational transition. When I was there in 1983, I looked around and noticed something. Everywhere I went in Epcot, I saw grandparents. And before this, there was just only the Magic Kingdom. I saw these old guys and ladies in their button-up shirts and ties and dresses, and they were just soaking up the place. It gave something that the Magic Kingdom just didn't. And then I noticed some of these guys were obviously 85 and older, aged, walking gingerly, riding around in wheelchairs sometimes. And it wasn't until years later it occurred to me, these were people older than Walt would have been. With them being 85 and older, these were people born in the 1800s who got to experience and enjoy Epcot Center. And not just any Epcot, but Golden Age Epcot. Think about that. I think that's just amazing. So thanks, brother. I really enjoy the show. All the topics, all the hot takes, all the juicy and sticky stuff, all the perspectives, and all the California to balance out Florida over here. Really looking to the next 7 years and the future beyond, man. Take care.
Well, that concludes this anniversary, 7-year anniversary special of OG55. Like we said earlier on in this video, the videos might continue to come in from various people, various content creators. So we will be still collecting videos. If you want to do a 5 to 10 minute video wishing the channel a happy 7-year anniversary, or even just a 5 to 10 minute video with a topic that you just want to discuss, that you want to showcase, send it over. My email is orangegrove55@gmail.com. And if we get some more videos after this video, we will definitely make a part 2. But George, I want to thank you for joining me, brother. If you could let everybody know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Absolutely. And before I do, I just have to say thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your channel, a part of your world, a part of your life. You know, it really means the world to me. The fact that I watched you from the very beginning, and just from you answering my tweet for a Q&A video, and it's like, and this is where it branched out to. So I mean, you know, we've always been really good friends, but I feel like, you know, our brotherhood has become stronger over the years, and especially after the past few months and what have you. So I just, you know, here's to the next 7 years, to infinity and beyond.
Cheers. Yeah, no, George, you are my brother. I love you. You're family to me, and this channel would not be the same without you, brother. And you know, you're the Italiano. You know, you're my Italian brother, and I'm having a blast with you. And yeah, I'm looking forward to just, you know, fucking around, having some good times on here, you know, talking to our friends, nerding out, having some good times with you in person too, you know, when we have our adventures out at the Disney parks or Orange County or wherever, you know, it's always fun. So yeah, thank you, George, so much for everything. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Brother. Thank you, brother. Love you.
And if you could let everybody home know where they can find you on social media.
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, @DisneyGeorge. You could also find me on the podcast, A Walk with Walt. Now you could actually start following me on Instagram. I reinstated my Instagram account, so I'm starting to add a lot of our photos of our adventures that we've had through the summer into the fall, and then as more stuff comes along. So definitely you could find me on Instagram, the Disney Italiano. And of course, you'll find me here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner, with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There we go, everybody. There we go. Comment down below with anything you want to talk about in the comments. We would love to hear from you. Stick around. At the end, I'm linking that very first video from OG55 about Mission Breakout that George mentioned at the top of the show. I think you guys and gals will get a kick out of it. Thanks, everybody. Take care now.